Hi guys, this is Orshi and this is going to be my This Happened in June. Oh, Jesus, already it's the 6th month. I mean, we're already in the 7th month of 2021. Where did the time go again? So yeah, as per usual, I will try to go quickly through my thing because I don't think you need to hear from me that long. But I always say that, and most of the time it doesn't happen. So you can already see how long this video is, so you're in an advantage actually. But I'm trying to, do the pointy things so that we're making progress. Everything is going to be timestamped down below, so if you want to, just check some topics that I might have talked about, then you can do so. There's not a lot of new decks because most of my new decks are still from the previous month and I haven't used them. I bought two that I know that I bought since that video. I have those here, but new decks are going to be more featured from, I'd say, August, when I start to actually, working with those new decks. So first thing first, June was Pride Month here as well. We didn't have our Pride parade yet. It's supposed to be on the 27th, I think, or 6th of this month, July, unless the government comes up with, a reason to say that, sorry, it's against the new law we implemented and you can't do that. I mean, I was pretty much expecting that to happen, so I'm surprised that the Pride Parade is, set to schedule. I'm not sure if I can go because I'm not vaccinated. I wasn't, medical history and all that jazz. I couldn't get it. Not yet, at least. I was advised not to get it, so I'm not, a conspiracy theorist or hating vaccines or anything like that. Not everybody who doesn't get vaccinated is, and it's kind of frustrating. But anyway, so I'm not sure I can go. I will have to check, rules and how it's going to be done, or if I'm even free on the day. I mean, it's supposed to be Saturday, but things happen. Because if you were not with me on the Queer Decks live stream, and I use the queer word as a positive one, I know that for some people it's not a positive one, but for me it was always that, and I understand that it's not a good one for everyone, but I've watched a lot of older gay people sorry, talk about it, and it's just, I think, and other people talk about it, and I think it's a very personal choice at this moment. But please do know that I mean no offense, I just love queer. I think that's a really cool word, and it's unique, and in my head, it embodies all the positive stuff that comes with being able to be open about who you are, not being, gay or non-binary or trans or straight or whatever, because no, I know it's straight is not included. I just don't want to anyone who's watching and straight think that they are not welcome here. So when I use queer, I just mean that everyone who's not straight, but being able to be who they are, and that's a positive thing. And these two should be equal. But maybe I just explained it in a very confusing way now. But anyway, so in that stream I talked about the law that the government implemented, citing that they are trying to protect the children, and that excuse should be burned with a torch, because according to that law nobody is allowed to talk about anything related to being different, being anything else than straight, to anyone who's under the age of 18. And those are informative years, and those are exactly the years that someone who's gay or whatever, I'm not going to start listing, not straight, let's go with that, should be able to hear that who they are is not just normal and okay, but that there are other people like them, and they wouldn't feel alone, because they are young, they are figuring out things, and they have questions, and now they legally no one is allowed to answer questions, no teachers. I mean, if I would, you know, if the topic of this would come up in, for example, a Harry Potter club that I'm doing in the library, I mean, I'm still doing it, but you see, if this topic would come up, I wouldn't be able to, legally, I would be permitted to answer the question. And I'm not sure I could do that, to be honest. I'm not sure what the, you know, consequences are if someone finds out, and I'm sure they would, because, you know, you can count on local gossip. But I don't know how, I don't know. So yeah, it's a horrible new law, bill, whatever it's called in English. And I know that currently the EU wrote a letter to the Hungarian government, and they had a week to address the bill, which is, I mean, at least it's good that they did something. But in a way it reminds me of Team America, you know, when the EU, oh no, it's the NATO, I think NATO is, you know, the guy is visiting Kim Jong-un, and, or is it Kim Jong-il? Oh, it's Kim Jong-il, of course. Kim Jong-un wasn't anywhere in that era. Kim Jong-il, and he's telling Kim Jong-il that we're so angry, we're even gonna, you know, write a letter. And, you know, it's kind of feels like that. It's a running joke in our family, you know, that when someone is angry, that we're gonna write a letter about it because it's useless. But I know it's, at least it's more than how the EU is usually reacting to anything that's happening in Hungary, because their excuse for not doing shit, like after the last election, which I still stand by, that it was cheated, that they stole the election, they were like, you know, it's your business, it's your internal stuff, we can't do anything. It's bullshit. We're part of the EU for a reason. As an EU citizen, I should be, you know, protected from my own freaking government if they are doing, you know, dictatorshipy things, and that's what they are doing. But the positive side of this horrible thing, and for me, was that how awesome you guys are all here watching my videos, and, you know, who were in the live with me, and who saw my posts on Facebook or just, you know, or Instagram. A lot of you reached out and, you know, showed support and understanding, and, you know, you can't really do anything in this situation, and I completely understand. But it was really nice to know that, you know, I really am part of a community here, which means a lot to me, because I didn't know that there were some people who are, because, you know, I got recommended a few posts around Taroton last month that was like, why are you talking about this thing if you're not liking it? So I didn't know that there were some people who were, you know, more than friendly towards our group of people, I guess. Because I am part of this community here, which is, for me, it was nothing more than welcoming and accepting, even though I was worried coming in that people will not be that open to embrace me, because I'm a foreigner. I know I don't speak English completely correctly, especially because I'm, you know, all over the place in my head, and I have an accent and all that bullshit, even though I don't care, to be honest, because I know I speak English well enough that I can make my point come across, and if, you know, not, then I can try to just describe what I'm trying to say, and after a while people will get it. But this made me think about what people think, how communities work, and what I mean by that is, based on those comments, because, you know, I went and read a few, and I'm not naming names because what's the point? If you know what I'm talking about or who I'm talking about, you know, if not, you don't need to look it up. People were complaining mostly that when they come into lives, when there are a lot of people, that they are getting ignored, or they are not getting welcomed as warmly maybe as other people who are already known in those chats. And I think what people miss, and I'm not talking about, you know, tarot community anymore, just in general with friendship, people I think miss the fact that when you're the new people coming into any sort of friendship circle or, you know, community, like when you switch schools and you're the new kid, you have to make an effort. I mean, effort. What I did in the first few, at least 2 or 3 weeks when I was regularly going into lives, and yeah, I think I did that in lives. I wasn't on Facebook back then, but when I joined Facebook, I was doing that. I was on Facebook, I was liking the post, I was commenting, because you have to show initiative. You have to show that, hey, I'm here and I would like to be your friend. And I think people think that just because they say hi once or go into a live and have a few conversations once, people who regularly chat there will remember them and will know who they are and be friends with them immediately. But being friends is, you know, doesn't work like that, becoming friends. And yeah, I did that too when I, as you can, you know, I comment. Okay, I'm a commenter. But I do that as well because I mean, with live streams, I was there and saying hi and trying to get into the conversation, asking people questions, answering questions. And after a while, you know, people will like, hey, I've seen your name a few times. I know you, and I know that you're coming in with good intentions, and you know you're not a horrible person, hopefully. But it's work. When you're the new person, you have to work. And why I'm talking about this is because I think it's important to know that you can find friends here and you can find support and a supportive environment, but you have to do the work to be part of it. Because there might be new people, you know, watching this and they don't dare to comment, or they don't want to come into live streams and say things, you know, just say hi or anything like that, because they think that because there's already a friend group or friendly conversation going on around there in those places, they might not get a chance to be a part of it. But that's not true. But you know, I will talk about this more in depth when we manage to do our lives with Scott from I think his new name is Scott at Scorpio Moon Tarot, because we plan on doing a live about about the community. But you know, we will have to see when we can do that. But yeah, and we're already in 30 minutes, so and that was just the first topic, but it was the longest. Second thing, Loki. I'm not gonna talk about the show because I hate spoilers. I'm not doing spoilers if I can, you know, avoid it. And just saying that I love, with big capital letters, I love the show, and I'm really, really happy that Disney is not effing over the Marvel shows, because I was very worried, because they have a tendency to fuck things up. But the Falcon and the Winter Soldier, why was that so hard? The Falcon and the Winter Soldier was great as well. I love Sebastian Stan. Finger moment. That's a very, very handsome individual, and I love his character. Obviously I love Falcon as well, but I can relate to the depressive, you know, self-sabotaging personality of the Winter Soldier a bit more. But the new Loki is very good as well. We are in the 4th episode out of only 6. So yeah, I love Loki. I don't care if you don't. Then we don't need to talk about it. You don't have to try to tell me why you don't like it, because I don't care. Just you know, a friendly warning that when I love someone or something like a TV show, I don't really care how other people regard it. Could be like, could be came across as, you know, entitled or snobbish or whatever, but I learned in a long time ago that if I don't want to get my fun ruined, then I just have to draw the line and say that you don't have to like it. I'm okay with you not liking it, but I don't want to hear about it, because that just, you know, I love it, then it doesn't add to the conversation. Okay, so third one, we had our second tarot chit chat with Jax, who is already posting again on YouTube, so I have to make a note to link her channel down below, so you can go and subscribe to her if you haven't, and, you know, spam her videos with comments so she would know that, you know, her content is needed, because I really like her and I want her channel to be active so I can watch more content, you know. But we had our second tarot chit chat. We're gonna do the third one soon, and we started with a new thing where we pull cards and tell a story with those cards, and we have the main characters for the story after the first live, and you can guys, you know, participate in how we interpret the cards and the characters. And then we're moving forward, we're gonna, you know, start going into what these characters are doing. I don't even know how the next live is going to go, but it was really fun, and you can find that also in the description, because I will link that. And also regarding live readings, I did a free reading. I was, you know, an hour long, where anyone was able to come in and ask for a reading, and I was worried no one would show up. I mean, I posted it, you know, everywhere, and I was hoping that some people would, you know, send in questions so I would have something to work with. I already had the backup plan to do general readings if no one would show up, but, you know, free readings, a lot of people showed up. Sorry, I had to cut it out because my throat. So not just random people showed up, you know, requesting readings on their crushes or whatever, the usual and work related stuff, but you guys showed up as well, and you told me, I mean, I get feedback that it was helpful, so that was fun. I'm definitely planning on doing once a month, and I don't think I'm going to do more, because it can get quite tiring, especially doing it live. My monthly readings, I did them one video so far, but I think I'm going to cut them off into different signs and film them on different days, because they just take so much out of me, because doing readings can be tiring, that I want to, you know, give myself time to recover a bit more, and maybe figure out what sort of crystals I should hold on to while doing these readings to not get so tired. But so that was fun, and thank you so much everyone who came. And if you want to, you can always reach out for a free reading, and if you want to get your free reading during those lives, then you can, you know, email me or message me your question beforehand, and I can do them. And I'm doing that in the first come first serve order, so some people obviously didn't get it, but hey, it's free. Okay, so there's only 2 things left, and I'm gonna start with the second one, yeah, because I want to leave the fun new deck stuff at the end of the one. Britney. So I was a Britney friend. What is that word? I'm a Britney fan pretty much since she debuted. Not immediately, because our magazine was a bit behind of the US stuff back then, because back then there was no internet for that yet, I know. we definitely didn't use it to, you know, get news immediately. Just, yeah, I know, I remember dial-up. I remember waiting for the pictures to, you know, download line by line, and when the picture was too big, it just stopped and you had to refresh and wait again and do that a couple of times to get one picture. Yeah, that was a long time ago. And you know, when people complain about the internet is so slow, I'm like, dude, you have no idea. But I understand, because I complain as well. You know, if something doesn't load like that, I'm complaining. It's funny how easily we can get used to things working better. But so if you follow her case, there was a big moment in the conservatorship, because she said what she said on the record for the first time after 13 years, which is ridiculous and long, and there's just so many things that are not right with her situation. But a lot of people are, and I what I wanted to say or talk about is more like the mental health aspect of things, because it's happening with court cases as well, that people are playing armchair psychologists so easily. Because I'm not saying that everything is happening with Britney is right. I can't believe that it's for her best interest, because she's depressed, she's traumatic. She said it. She sounded like she has PTSD. She's you know, she said she's crying herself to sleep. That's not, you know, when you're in a system that's supposed to protect you, someone is doing something wrong if this is the person who's being protected is experienced. Even if they are, you know, everybody is doing their best, if someone, Britney, is still feeling this shit, then something is not working. And we're not talking about a system that was set up yesterday. It's been ongoing for more than 10 years now, so something should have been changed a long time ago. And yeah, it's ridiculous that, you know, her personal choices are so limited. And I would like to believe that when what happened was set up, you know, the whole temporary conservatorship back then, when she had that breakdown, it happened for her, the best reason. You know, it came from the good reasons. Though some people are implying that Britney's father was like this always, and their relationship wasn't good from the start. And you know, we don't know. We'll never know. But after a while, it became quite obvious that money was the bigger part in how the decisions were made, not Britney and her well-being. Because like I said, if she feels like this after 13 years, how do you say that word, 13 years of, you know, being in this protective place, then something is not right. But what I don't like is people just going like, let's lift everything and let her go. And even though your, you know, instinct might say that, you have to acknowledge the fact that we as a public have no idea about her mental state or medical diagnosis, which is private for a reason. It's her business. And I'm kind of sad that she thinks that no one would be understanding about her diagnosis or what she's going through, that people would treat her like she's crazy, if even know. Because for me, that was the subtext of what she said in court. And that also shows that how much of the conversation around mental health she's missing out on, because she doesn't have access to these conversations. Maybe if she had, you know, if she saw that other people, other stars, other singers are talking about more and more openly what they're going through mental health wise, she would be more relaxed. No, it's not the right word. She wouldn't be so scared to share what she's going through, because she wouldn't worry that people would judge her for it. Because, you know, it's not something that she should be judged for, because it's an issue she's dealing with. She's doing the best she can do. She's going to therapy. She's doing all sorts of things to deal with everything that's going on with her. But also that I noticed more and more, and that's why I'm for my own mental health, I'm going to cut back on following court cases and true crime things in real life happening, because I've seen so many people so easily judge someone just based on, and I'm not talking about Britney here, I'm talking about other, you know, cases that I've unfortunately followed because I want to know what happened. But you know, people saw like a few interviews and they decided that, oh, this person is faking their mental health issues because they did something horrible, and they think that they are using it as an excuse. But sometimes people who have psychosis, or I don't even know what would make you think like do such horrible things, because I'm not a professional and I know that I'm not. It doesn't present in a way that, you know, crazy people don't run around yelling that I'm gonna kill everyone on the street. Sometimes they act and present themselves as normal people, and that's why when something horrible happens, all the community and people around them shocked that these horrible things happen, because they never imagined, because their issues were masked so well that, you know, just by looking at them from the outside you couldn't tell. But it doesn't mean that those issues were not there. And I'm not saying that people don't try to use mental health issues as an excuse, or, you know, a way to get away from taking responsibility, getting jail or whatever. But sometimes that's what happens. People have a breakdown or whatever, and there are clinical people, psychiatrists and whatever, psychologists and psychiatrists, that's not how you say it, whatever, you know, court appointed, and people with a long period of experience who will evaluate these people, and they will have an opinion, and then they can, you know, both sides of these proceedings can bring in new people and get new evaluations, and, you know, they will get a fuller picture. But I don't understand why people think that they, who are just watching news coverage of something that happened, know better than people who actually work in the field and work with court system for a long time, especially when the defense and the prosecution both accepts their evaluation. Why is this word so hard? Evaluation. You know, like, it's just, I think that's very, very damaging, and it's very scary, and it shouldn't just be like, oh, it's internet, you know, people can say whatever they want to say, because it's kind of feel like, you know, if those people who are so passionate, and I'm using that word lightly, in the comments, those are the lynch mob type of people. And as a society, as human beings, we came up with legal systems and rules for the society for a reason, so that, you know, when something horrible happens and we think we know what happened, we don't go and punish people who might not even be responsible, because we don't have all the facts, because we're passionate and we're heated and we can't think clearly. So yeah, I think that's very alarming, to be honest, that so many people think, because I see the videos posted in cases, because, you know, user recommends them to me, and when I go and watch the trials and I go, you know, watch the facts as much as I can, I don't usually see the reason for being so suspicious about things. But yeah, maybe it's just me, and maybe other people are right. I don't know. I just find it alarming that the mob lynch mob mentality is so present in these cases. And I'm not talking about the Derek Chauvin case, by the way, if you're wondering. I'm not. I'm talking about different things. I was just thinking about that. With that, the whatever the sentencing, that was, I think, right. I mean, just based on the facts that I've seen. I know that there were some people who were worried that he would get off without any jail time, but I don't think that was possible, because he did something so horrible and inhumane that there was no way. But yeah, I'm not talking about that. I'm just talking about in general with missing kids, and when people are immediately going to the parents that they must be the reason. You don't know, because they don't act like how the watchers, those people, imagine and expect them to act when their child is missing. Like, how do you know how that feels? How do you know how you would react? You just don't. And I hope we're never gonna find out. No, none of us who are watching this. But yeah, I think more empathy and understanding towards people who are going through shit is needed, because it's already been established that people don't grieve the same, people don't go through stages of grief the same, or anger, or people don't react to different stressful situations the same. So expecting that is very, very scary, because people might do something when they think that those who are actually really responsible are getting away with something. Yeah, I'm gonna stop. Okay, it's a long and maybe futile conversation anyway, so let's talk about that two decks that I got with some books. So I think I talked about the Raven cycle in last month's video, but since then I have all the books here. They have arrived and they are so pretty, and this was the one that I did what I promised myself not to do, buying an actual series of books when I haven't finished reading the series, because I was fucked over by the Divergent series, and not doing that. But I just loved this, the Raven Boys. I fell in love with the book, the characters, the word, and I was already on the third book when I ordered the first one, and there is 4 in the cycle. But I wasn't, I wasn't disappointed, but I just noticed that my book, can you see, it's been smushed. Oh, Jesus, I'm so careful with my books. And yeah, I'm a paperback reader. I don't like hardbacks. They are hard to read. I don't like them. I like when a book shows some wear and tear and stuff like that, because it's well loved. That's just me. But I want to do the the tear, not someone else, because they packaged it wrongly. Whatever. And of course I bought the tarot book from the same creator. I haven't did the walkthrough. I'm being very good with concentrating on the decks that I'm working for the month and for summer. And that's going to be a long first impression, because I will talk about the books and the deck as well. So I'm kind of saving that for a day when I'm in the mood, because I want to do that when I'm all excited and happy and there's not stuff heavy on my mind. But that was quite interesting, because I don't want to get into too much detail, but at first I was interested in the deck, and then I was like, but is it too similar to the energy wise to the Spacious Tarot? It's not, by the way, it's completely different, but because it's minimalistic, I was kind of thinking that do I need both? Yeah, for different reasons. And then I heard that there were books accompanying the deck, so I was like, I'm gonna read the books to see if how they are, and fell in love with the series. And I just want to say here quickly that you don't need to read the books, because the deck is not connected to the books, which meant that around the third book I was like, I don't need the deck because it's not connected to the books, and I love the books and I want the deck to be more connected to the deck, or the deck to be more connected to the book. But after that I was like, but in a way it's still connected, and I think I will have extra special, more layered meaning with the deck, with the cards, because I've read the books. But I will see that when I'm doing my first impression, and especially later after I work with the deck. So I decided and I bought everything, and I'm quite excited to work with it, because like I said, I fell in love with the book so hard that it's not even funny. The first time I fell, I'm trying to think which one, because I love Harry Potter, but I fell more in love with the world than the actual books or the story. When I fell in love with books, and I'm trying to think back, the Dragonlance Chronicles were one for sure back then. That was something. The Dark Tower series is definitely on the list. I will need to buy those books, because I have them in a digital format, but I want them in paper format, but they are quite expensive, so I want to get a chance to go to the UK, go into a used bookshop and maybe get them from there. But I'm trying to think back which books were, because I was thinking about this the other day and I should have made a note, but I didn't, and I'm just trying to look over my books in my head and on the because there is something else, not just the Dark Tower. The Murder Bot series as well is really good, but it wasn't like this. Anyway, if I figure it out, I will mention it somewhere, but I probably in the walkthrough. So if you're curious, you can watch that or just ask me about it. I don't think you're still watching, it's almost 40 minutes again. But let's close with a deck that I bought used, and in the end, with all the shipping and whatnot, I kind of came close to the price that I would have paid for a new one, and I think I might have trimmed it better, because it's already trimmed. But you know what, I was kind of like, but at least I'm helping a fellow tarot reader out, so, and I wanted this deck, and this is the Llewellyn, and it's the completely trimmed, and I wanted to do the trimming as well, because I don't think you need. I wish there would be a different version where you get the cards bigger, but it's okay. This is something that I'm quite really excited to work with, and I'm not going to go through the whole deck, but I'm not planning on filming a first impression, I don't think, or I might do it still, I don't know, because it's already trimmed and it's not a new deck, so I'm not sure how I want to approach it, but it's definitely going to be something that I'm working from August for the fall season, because it kind of feels like that fall season is connected to all the Celtic decks that I have. So yeah, thank you so much for watching. I know it's 15 minutes, and I swear I tried to make it shorter, but there were topics that I had to talk about. But you can, you know, always skip around. You don't have to watch this if you don't want to, so hopefully that's okay. And yeah, that's all I think, and thank you so much for watching, and see you in the next video whenever it is.